Welcome back to Foodable Smart Kitchen and Bar. I'm your host, Oscar, Master Mixologist, and we're going to be covering two of my favorite handcrafted spirits. One of them is from New Holland Spirits, the Knickerbocker American Gin, and we're going to have from Tahoe Spirits, our Hudson Manhattan Rye Whiskey. First, we're going to use our rye whiskey to go with one of my favorite cocktails that we created for this segment. It's actually coming from like the first distillery since Prohibition in New York. They created the first bourbon in New York ever. And today we're gonna be working with this particular spirit just because I love the way it brings a cocktail together. You're definitely gonna be able to work with some of the classics with this, but we created something new, kind of like to represent what the distillery is all about. The distillery's dog name is Taxi, and therefore we created this name to honor the distillery's dog based on its personality. We're gonna be using our brown coconut palm sugar, some black cherries, fresh oranges, apples, and cinnamon sticks as a garnish. First, we're gonna take our cherry. Now, the cherries, you can use maraschino cherries, Luxardo cherries. I'm using right now black cherries just because they're a little bit more fruit forward and it's not gonna overtake the texture of the spirit. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna throw just one orange slice. And I kinda wanted to like throw a little bit of an old-fashioned style into the drink. So we're just running through a little bit through the basics, model that a little bit. Now we're gonna add our base, which is gonna be our 2 ounces of Hudson Manhattan Rye Whiskey, 1 ounce of apple cider, teaspoon of the palm sugar. And then we're gonna add some of our ice cubes to stir this up. Just enough to finalize diluting the sugar, not the drink. Now we're gonna go ahead and pour this over ice. An apple and an orange on the side. Now we're gonna top it off with the cherry and the cinnamon stick, dash of bitters. Here we go, we have the Taxi. Let me tell you a little bit about why this is a great drink. When you use all these ingredients, you're gonna be able to have a nice balance of the fruit, the acidity, and the spiciness into it. It's not necessarily a fall drink, but it falls into the layer category of a fall cocktail. Now, the great thing about this drink is that you're gonna be able to introduce it to someone and they're gonna be able to find it that is balanced enough that it's not gonna scare them away from the whiskeys. It's all about the way it's gonna look and the experience that you're gonna create for the guests. That's the reason Hudson has done a great job making sure that people understand what they're trying to do with their product. And it's not only about the marketing and presentation behind it, but the product itself, it speaks for itself. So I encourage you to try this, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Now we're gonna be working with our Knickerbocker American Gin from New Holland Spirits. A little bit about New Holland Spirits. They started in 1997 as an artisan craft beer company, and they didn't start really distilling their products until 2005 when it came to the spirits. Now they're based out of Holland, Michigan, and also Grand Rapids, where they have actually a full operation with pubs, restaurant, and the distillery. Now, why is this important? Because once you bring this product into your bar as an operator, you're gonna be able to understand that they know the restaurant business. They own the pub, they own the restaurants, they understand what they need to do in order for their customers to understand their product and the experience as a whole. It's mainly about 12 botanical flavors, and mainly juniper berry is gonna be what is gonna be throwing forward the flavor on the palate with this gin. So today we're gonna make something that I really wanted to show you based on what the history of the town and the product itself comes from. So the name of the drink is Fancy Pants. And Holland started as settlers back in the day. About a group of 200 people decided to make it their home. So a little known fact is that Heinz Pickle Factory is in Holland, Michigan. So obviously we know that through the seasons they use a lot of the cucumbers to make these pickles, so that's why we're gonna be using cucumber as part of our drink, as well as some lemon juice, and we're gonna have some tarragon as the spice to bring everything together, to bring that botanical layer that you want in the gin. And we're gonna have some elderflower liqueur as well. First, we're gonna start by adding some of the cucumbers to get muddled in. We're gonna release some of that flavor that you want in the cucumber, that fresh texture. Some people like to take the skin off. I actually don't mind it. It actually helps keeping the cucumber together as we shake it. So the reason I'm using tarragon is because it's kind of like a bittersweet herb, and what it's gonna do is gonna create a botanical profile into the drink. I didn't muddle it because you don't want that bitterness into the drink. It's gonna create too many layers of flavor, and that way you're gonna be able to kind of get that nice clean accent of it. Now after this, we're gonna add our citrus to bring the balance, just about half an ounce. Now we're gonna be using our Knickerbocker gin, which is gonna be 2.5 ounces on it. And half an ounce of elderflower liqueur. And then we're gonna add some ice to be able to shake it. Hard shake. Can already smell it. And the reason we're naming it Fancy Pants is we're using two elements that takes it to the next level. We're using the tarragon, which is usually used in French cuisine, and we're gonna top it off with bubbles. So now we have an outstanding cocktail that came all the way from Michigan, and we made a little twist to bring that handcrafted spirit experience to our guests. So here is Fancy Pants. You're gonna be able to get the citrus, a little bit of that elderflower, botanical texture. You're gonna be able to have the juniper experience of the gin, and it's refreshing. It's something that you can have definitely in the summer, winter, fall. It's an all-season drink. Don't forget to join our social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And if you have any questions regarding the ingredients or the recipes, email producer@foodabletv.com. It was a pleasure. I'm out.